In this tutorial, we're going to talk about coming up with spell ideas. So there are several things to keep in mind. First and foremost, observe tasks you routinely perform on the web. So if, for example, you find yourself performing certain tasks on the web and you say to yourself, gosh, is there a way for me to perhaps use Alexia BASIC to really automate what I'm doing? Or alternatively, is there a way to utilize Alexia BASIC to perform the task I'm doing manually, but to do so programmatically? So that could be one way to come up with a spell idea. You could also experiment with new ways to combine information. So if you really stop and think about how information is used and the type of information that can be obtained by using Alexia BASIC, right, and interfacing with the World Wide Web, and then you start experimenting with new ways to combine information, what you could end up with are some concepts or ideas that can be turned into spells. And then finally, here's another thought. Think about things you'd like to do online but can't imagine actually being able to do so. Now, one good example of this, for example, is if, for instance, if you wanted to perform a wide variety of different searches on a particular search engine or on an online encyclopedia or perhaps on Twitter, and the types of searches you wanted to do were like literally in the hundreds or if not thousands, right? And you wanted to assimilate all of that information in a way that could be useful to you, but you just couldn't imagine physically going onto the web via a traditional web browser and manually typing in all the various search criteria that you're looking for. Let's say, for example, you have a list of keywords and you're like, yeah, I'd love to do a search, for example, on Google, and I'd love to just see what links come up for each of these keywords. And yeah, that's maybe a great idea, but to physically implement that might be extraordinarily time consuming. So by thinking about things you'd like to do online but can't imagine actually being able to do these things, well, you know, Alexia BASIC can be the vehicle through which you can accomplish some of those tasks. And so by thinking about that stuff, you can come up with a spell that will, in essence, allow you to do that which you otherwise could not imagine being able to do. You know, a lot of this really comes down to your own imagination, your own creativity. There are very few restrictions, really, if any, that are placed upon you by Alexia BASIC. So you have a wide, just a very wide latitude, right, in terms of what you can pursue, the types of spells you can create. So you're really ultimately limited only by your imagination. But hopefully with this tutorial, you now have some additional ideas and thoughts that you can use to create some really cool and interesting spells. Thanks for watching. Now please subscribe to our channel.